Hi everyone. So today we are going to look at another game by the magician from Riga, Mikhail Tal, and this is a game that he played against Van der Wiel in 1982. So let's have a look. So the game started with c4, knight f6, knight c3, e6, knight f3, b6, e4, bishop b7. Now White would like to place his third pawn in the center, but unfortunately the pawn on e4 is hanging. It's being attacked by the bishop and the knight, so he has to defend it. But now black plays c5 to control this square, so that after the bishop moves, white is not able to push his pawn in the center. But here, white just castles, and after knight c6, he attacks the black knight, and black plays knight g4, bishop e4, pinning the knight. So black cannot really capture the knight. For example, if he captures, I capture, uh, and he captures, and I just capture the bishop. So now black plays the move queen c8. So he supports the bishop, and now he's threatening to capture this pawn with the knight. White takes, and black would take. So now white could have played something like maybe rook e1 to have some sort of discover attack. But here white plays a very interesting move, and it looks very dull, but it has a very clever idea. So white here plays the move d3, and this looks absurd. I mean, he's just giving up a pawn. But after black takes, white takes, black takes, white here plays f4. So he's using the fact that his king is castled. All his pieces are ready to go. You can see the rook is ready, the bishop is ready, and the pawn is taking the tempo, the free move that it's getting by attacking the knight. So white has sacrificed a pawn, but he's using it to his advantage, while the black king is still in the center, and it's actually far away from castling right now. So black goes back, and now f5. So white is opening up the center. He's asking black to capture here so that his king will be weak, while white's king is sitting perfectly on the king side. So this is the kind of play Mikhail Tal went for, and let's look at the game further. Now g6. So black is trying to, let's say, exchange that strong pawn without opening up his king side. But white now plays the move bishop g5. And you can see he sacrificed another pawn. He doesn't really care about his material right now. It's all about the development advantage. Because if white, let's say, were to capture here, black would just capture. And then next he would play bishop g7 and castle, and white's pawn sacrifice doesn't feel like it's something threatening. So he instead just develops a piece and plays bishop g5. And now black just captures. And I'm going to ask you to pause your videos and think for a while, what should white play here? So white here plays the move bishop f5, sacrificing a whole piece. And black unfortunately went wrong here. So in the game, black played bishop e7, which feels logical because uh, capturing the bishop feels very, very risky, and it is. But that was probably still the best try for black after something like ef5, queen e2 check, knight e7, rook a e1. You can see all white's pieces are ganging up on the king. It's very difficult to imagine a situation where he'll run away from this. Rook g8 is the best move for black, but now white just captures. Now black has his own threat with rook g2, queen takes, bishop takes, and now bishop h4 check. So black's king cannot really go anywhere, so bishop e4. The bishop was anyway going to be captured, so now you might want to take with the pawn, but actually taking with the knight is stronger because takes, and suddenly black's king has nowhere to go. So he plays bishop e7, rook takes e7, king d8, rook f takes f7, and you can see how complicated this position is. King c7, bishop g3 check, king c6, and rook takes h7, and white is threatening something like uh, rook h6 check, which will be devastating. And this is a very complicated position, though black still has drawing chances here. However, uh, in the game, black actually just played bishop e7, and now white brings his queen into play with queen h5. Uh, Black captures. He could not have really captured here because now it's an even dangerous version for him, because now white can even capture here, and even f7 is weak. So black has to stick to his strategy of keeping the center closed, and he captures here, white captures, and now he plays knight e7. So he's opening up the bishop, preparing rook g8 to again capture on g2, and that would be very good for black. And he also attacks white's bishop. Now white's hand is forced here. He has to play the move bishop e4. Uh, but it's not a bad move at all. I mean, first of all, it exchanges one of black's good pieces, and now he's going to bring his knight into the game, and this is a very serious problem for black. And uh, you can see there's a fork threatened on knight d6. There's a very serious check on knight f6, and black is likely not to get out of this alive. And black tries to defend with queen c6 on a good day, hoping that he could castle. Even that is not possible because the knight is hanging. So it's hard to imagine how he's going to get out of this. And now I'm going to ask you to pause the video and think for a while. What can white play here? I think uh, white is more fully mobilized and he can strike in this position. So it's your move. Think for a while. What should white play? So I hope you thought for a while and could at least come up with the idea. White here plays the move rook takes f7. So white has decided that, Tal has decided that this is the time for action, and black really doesn't have any forces defending his king because you can see this rook is out of play. This rook is not really defending the king. This knight is basically a target, and the queen has no easy connections because it cannot really come here and support the knight. So it's just the black king facing the entire white army. Oh, sorry, not about that. So the knight, the rook, and the queen. And now black captured, obviously. Now queen f6 check. He played king g8. And king e8 was not really possible because of queen takes h8. And now king g8, white just captured the rook. And now rook f8, one of the few moves to prevent knight f6 checkmate. But now I'm going to ask you to pause the video again and think for a while. How can you finish black off here? Okay, so if you thought of knight f6 check, well, definitely that is a decent move because the rook is out of play for black. And definitely, I mean, white can just play rook f1 next and it would be lost for black for sure. But an even quicker win is simply rook f1 directly, because here the knight is actually stronger than the rook. Uh, Now, black actually resigned in this position, but if he would capture, which is pretty much forced, now white is threatening knight f6, and there is absolutely no defense. The best he can do is play e5, but knight check, queen takes, and of course, this is completely lost for black.